Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. So today we are supposed to start a new sutta. It is called Bhaddiyasuttaṃ. This is the last sutta of the second group of the Udāna Pāḷi. Yeah, it's a middle-length sutta, I would call. So it's about something which happened about Venerable Bhaddiyā, one of the great disciples of the Buddha. So anyone is volunteer to translate, maybe a few paragraphs.
May I try, Bhante?
Sure.
Okay, Bhante.
You can translate till Sukanti, like up to here.
Okay, Bhante. Evam me sutang ekang samayang bagawa anupiyayang viharati ambavani. Thus have I heard, at one time the Blessed One was dwelling at a mango forest in the city of Anupiya. Tinako panasamayena ayasma badiyo kaligodaya putto aranya gatopi rukhamula gatopi sunyagara gatopi abhikanang udanang udanesi aho sukhanti. At that time, the Venerable Bhaddiyā, the son of Kaligoda, gone to the forest, gone to the foot of tree, and gone to an empty space, frequently uttered this utterance, "Oh happiness, oh happiness." Is this okay, Bhante?
Yeah.
Okay, Bhante.
Utter this utterance. Utters this utterance.
Okay, Bhante. And the P here can be translated as N, right, Bhante?
Yeah.
Okay. Asosungko sambahula biku ayasmato badiyasa kaligodaya tutasa aranya gatasapi rukamula gatasapi sunyagara gatasapi abhikanang udanang udanentasa aho sukhanti. Many bhikkhus heard the Venerable Bhaddiyā, the son of Kaligoda, gone to the forest, gone to the foot of tree, gone to an empty space, frequently uttering this utterance, "Oh happiness, oh happiness." Sutwana nisang etada hosi.
Aho sukhansi means we have translated, oh, it is happy. It is happy.
Oh, okay, Bhante. Oh, it is happy. It is happy. Okay, Bhante. Sutwana nisang etada hosi. Having heard, they thought, nisang sayang ko awuso ayasma badiyo kaligodaya putto anabirato brahmachariyang charati. Without doubt, friend, the Venerable Bhaddiyā, the son of Kaligoda, wander without delighting in the holy life. Yang sa pube agarya buttasa raja sukhang so tamanusaramano aranya gatopi rukhamula gatopi sunyagara gatopi abhikanang udanang udanesi aho sukhanti. That royal happiness when previously he was a layman, he, remembering that, gone to the forest, gone to the foot of tree, gone to an empty space, frequently utter this utterance, "Oh, it is happy, oh, it is happy." Atako sambahula bhikkhu yena bhagawa tenu pasang kamingsu. Then many bhikkhus approached the Blessed One. Upasangkamitwa bhagawantang abiwadetwa ekamantang nisidingsu. Ekamantang nisinako te bhikkhu bhagawantang etada wochung. Then many bhikkhus. Sorry, Bhante. Please wait a moment. Then many having approached, having paid respect to the Blessed One, they sat at one side. Seated at one side, those bhikkhus said this to the Blessed One. Bhante, the Venerable Bhaddiya, the son of Ayasma Bhante Bhaddiyo Kaligodaya Putto Aranya Gatopi Rukha Mula Gatopi Sunyagara Gatopi Abhikhanang Udanang Udanisi Aho Sukhang Aho Sukhanti. Bhante, Venerable Bhaddiya, the son of Kaligoda, gone to the forest, gone to the foot of tree, and gone to an empty space, frequently utter this utterance. Oh, this is happy. Oh, this is happy. Nisang sayang ko Bhante, Ayasma Bhaddiyo Kaligodaya Putto Anabirato Brahmacharya Charati. Without doubt, Bhante, Venerable Bhaddiya, the son of Kaligoda, wander without delighting in holy life. Yang sa pobe agariya butasa raja sukhang, so tamanu saramano aranya gatopi rukha mula gatopi sunyagara gatopi abhikhanang udanang udanesi aho sukhang aho sukhanti. Sorry, Bhante, it's
Yeah. Yes.
that royal happiness when previously he was a layman. He, remembering that, gone to the forest, gone to the foot of tree, and gone to an empty space, frequently uttered this utterance. Oh, this is happy. This is happy.
Okay, thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu. I think you translated very well. Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So we'll go into the sutta in detail. Evam me sutang, I think we all know this. Ekan samayam bhagava anuppiyayang viharati. So here the city was Anuppya. The city was called Anuppya. Viharati Ambavane in a mango forest. Like previously we have Savatyang Viharati Jetavane. In the forest of the Jeta, offered by Jeta. Here is Ambavana. Ambavana is a mango grove. Amba is mango. Vana is forest. Tenakopana Same Nayasma Bhaddiyo Kaligodaya Putto Aranya Gatopi Rukkamula Gatopi Sunyagara Gatopi Abhikhanang Udanang Udanesi. So at that time, the verb is Udānang Udanesi. Udānang Udanesi means uttered the utterance. What kind of utterance? Aho Sukang, Aho Sukang. Aho is like a word of showing some excitement. Aho Sukang, Aho Sukang. Oh, this is indeed happy. This is indeed happy. Or he used to say that he is happyful now. He's in bliss. So aho sukang, it is happy, like it is happiness. Something he's referring to one of the happinesses that he used to experience as a monk. So Venerable Ayasma Bhaddiyo, Venerable Bhaddiya uttered the utterance saying that this is happy. And he used to utter that abhikhanang regularly, frequently he used to utter. Bhaddiya the Kaligodaya Putto. Kaligoda means one of the Sakyans of the Buddha's time. She was considered the most senior in the Sakyan family. She was a noble being who had attained Maggapala, and she was considered the most senior of that time. That's why Venerable Bhaddiya in the end became the monk of the highest clan, So her son was Bhaddiya. So Venerable Bhaddiya, the son of Kaligoda, regularly uttered the utterance that this is happy. So he used to utter this wherever he goes. So this is a past participle. So actually the sentence breaks here. Kaligodaya putto aranya gatopi abhikhanang udanang udanesi. Aranya is forest, gata is entered. So P shows that even having gone into the forest, aranya gato, rukka mula is the foot of a tree. Rukka mula gato means having gone to the foot of a tree. Sunyagara means an empty space. It can be an empty house or a building or any other place other than these two, Aranyagata and Rukkamula, where there is no much sound. It is very suitable for practice. So whenever Kaligoda Putta Bhaddiya used to utter this utterance, whenever he goes to the Aranya or to Rukkamula or to Sunyagara, right? So this is like whenever he went to whatever place, when we go to the forest or foot of a tree or an empty place, he used to utter this utterance. But it shows that this P is combining, like when he went to this, and this, right? You can take it as when he translate normally, right? Either he went to the forest, either he went to the foot of a tree, or either he went to the empty space. He used to utter this utterance. Then Assosunko Sambahula Bhikkhu Ayaspato Bhaddiyassa Kali Godaya Puttassa Aranya Gatassapi Rukkamula Gatassapi Sunyagara Gatassapi Abhikkanam Udānam Udānintassa Ahosukam Ahosukanti. So the same sentence, Ayasma Bhaddiya Kali Godaya Putta, this, the subjects, nominative cases have changed into genitive case here. Like here the subject is Sambahula Bhikkhu. So all the other Ayasma Bhaddiya become Ayasmato Bhaddiyassa, Kali Godaya Puttassa, Aranya Gatassapi, Rukkamula Gatassapi, Sunyagara Gatassapi, Abhikkanam Udānam Udānintassa. So all have turned into genitive case, and even the verb has turned into a present participle and written in the genitive case. So what is the meaning of this sentence? I think we have already discussed this once. When someone hears something from someone, the normal usage is in Pāli, we can either use ablative case when we are hearing from someone, but in Pāli the most common usage is genitive case. Ayasmato Bhaddiyassa Kali Godaya Puttassa Assosung. So normally either it should be taken as Kali Godaya Puttassa Vachanam Assosung, the word of Kali Godaya Putta. So here someone can think like, isn't it the Udāna is what they heard? But actually Udāna, if you look into the previous sentence, this part shows that it's a modifier of Venerable. Here it's a modifier of Venerable Bhaddiya. They uttered the words of Venerable Bhaddiya, the son of the Kali Godaya, who had entered in the forest, gone to the foot of a tree, gone to a secluded place, and used to utter the utterance that he is this is happy and this is happy. In the end, what they have heard is this. Technically what they have heard is this. Grammatically, this part is an explanation about Kali Godaya Bhaddiya. So the verb is connected to the genitive case. So in that case, Amutra Sutva Amutra Akkasi, for example. In Pāli, in Vinaya, we can find Amutra Sutva Amutra. Wait, just give one more. Amusa Sutva Imakka Imassa. Akhayanti. This is for the slandering, breaking the unity in the Sangha. So they hear from him and then tell this to the another. So because they want to bring a quarrel between two monks. So having heard from him, they used to tell this to the other one. So then they start to break and start to quarrel with each other. If monk does such slandering, he commits an offense, pachitya. So here amussa is in genitive case. So normally we can say this as amussa vachanang sutva. Having heard these words. So vachanang sutva is how Venerable Lady Shadow suggests in the Niruttadipani. So this is a usage. When you hear something from someone, we can either use ablative case or genitive case. If my memory was correct, even accusative case was used. I'm not sure about that. I have to check for that. So genitive case is normally used when you hear something from someone. So that's why entire clause which was written in nominative case in the previous sentence has turned into the accusative case. Genitive case. So they heard the voice, or they heard what the Argali Godaya used to say, that this is happy and this is happy. Sutvana nesang etad hosi. Having heard, etad hosi means this occurred. Etang ahosi. Nesang, to them, to the monks who listen to that utterance. Nissansayang auso ayasma badyo Pāḷi godaya putto anabirato brahmacharyan charati. So they used to say nissansaya. Nissansaya means undoubtedly, for sure. So they said they have no doubt that Venerable Pāḷi godaya putta, so he ekantena nissansayanti asandehena, for sure. They used to say, for sure, without any doubt, this is something that they are considering about this act. So ayasma, this is the main sentence. Ayasma badyo Pāļi godaya putto anibirato brahmacharyan charati. Charati here, better to translate as practice rather than wandering. Practice the holy life, brahmacharyan charati. Anabirato. Abhirata means being delighted, not being delighted. It's a past participle. So Venerable Bhaddiyasuttaṃ Pāļi godaya putta practice the holy life, anabhirato, not having delighted. So this is a nominative case, past participle. It can be used as a gerund actually, not having delighted. So Venerable Bhaddiyasuttaṃ practice the holy life without being delighted, and that's for sure. Nissansayam, that's for sure. There's no doubt in them. Nissansaya is not related to the act of charati. Not nissansaya and charati. It is for sure that Venerable Pāļi godaya, Venerable Bhaddiyasuttaṃ is practicing the holy life without being delighted. Yansa pubbe, now they are telling that Yansa pubbe agarya bhutas rajya sukkam. So tamanussara manu aranya gatopi rukkumula gatopi sunyagara gatopi abhikkanang udanesi aho sukam. So now they are telling what was his object of utterance, to what he considered as this is happy. Yansa pubbe agarya bhutasya rajya sukkam. So normally we translate this, we break the sandhi. Yang asa would be agarya bhutasya. Agarya bhutasya means while he was a lay person, being a lay person. Pubbe means previously. Previously, Pubbe being a lay person. Young Rajya Sukkam, whatever bliss in the kingship, Rajya Sukkam, bliss in the kingship. So young Rajya Sukkam, whatever happiness in kingship, that Pubbe Agarya Bhutasya asa to him, of him. So whatever bliss of happiness that he had being a layperson, so tamanussaramaano aranyagatopi rukkamulagatapi sunyagarbatopi advikkarang udana. So Venerable Kaligodaya will tamanussaramaano tang anussara So this tongue is connected to yang. Sorry. Yeah. So this, the subordinate, the closest are yang is connected to tongue. Whatever happiness in the kingship that he had, being a lay person, he, this Venerable Bhaddya, tamanussaramaano, remembering that, what is that? The happiness in the kingship. Aranyagatopi, having gone to the forest. Rukkamulagatopi, having gone to the foot of a tree. Sunyagaragotopi, having gone to the empty place. Abhikkanang, regularly. Udāna is uttered this utterance. Ahosukang. It is indeed happy. It is indeed happy. This is how we make that sentence. Then Atako Sambahula Bhikkhu. Then Sambahula Bhikkhu, many monks, Yena Bhagava Tenupasankamin, approached the Buddha. I think we know this sentence. Upasankamitva Bhagavantang Abhivaditva Ekamantan Nisidins. I think everyone can understand. Upasankamitva Bhagavantang Abhivaditva, having paid respect, Ekamantan Nisidins. Ekamantan Nisinna Kote Bhikkhu Bhagavantang Etadavochu. I think everyone can understand this. Ekamantan Nisinna Kote Bhikkhu, those monks who sat beside, Bhagavantang Etadavochu, said this to the Sudra. Now they are telling, Ayasma Bhante Bhaddiyo Kaligodaya Putto Aranya Gatopi Rukkamula Gatopi Sunyagara Batopi Abhikkanang Udanesi Ahosukan. Now they are telling the entire incident again. Ayasma Bhante Bhaddiyo Kaligodaya Putto, son of Kaligodaya, Venerable Bhaddya, Aranya Gatopi Rukkamula Gatopi Sunyagara Gatopi, having approached to a forest, foot of a tree or empty place, Abhikkanang regularly, Udanesi uttered this utterance. Ahosukang, it is indeed happening. Nisansayanko Bhante Ayasma Badhiyo Kaligodaya Putto Anabhirato Brahmacharyanchara. For sure, there's no doubt in it that Venerable Bhaddya, the Kaligodaya Putta, practices the holy life, not being delighted. Yansa Pubbe Agariya Bhutas Rajyasukang, so Tamanussaramaano Aranyagatopi, Ukkamulagatopi, Sunyagargatopi, Abhikkanang Udāna. So he, whatever happiness that he had, being the happiness in the kingship that he had, being a layperson, remembering that, he used to utter the utterance that this is happiness, this is happy, having gone to the forest, a foot of a tree, or even to an empty place. So this is what the story. Then the Blessed One called the Venerable Bhaddya and had a discussion with him. So there's the remaining part. So before we go into that, we can start a discussion on what I have discussed so far. Yeah.
Bhante. Here in the first paragraph, like Bhadi Yoga Kaligodaya Buddha Aranyagato, here we can translate it as a nominative absolute.
Nominative absolute. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
This past tense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And also it can be considered gerund even.
Gerund also?
Because past participle in the nominative case is equal to a gerund, right?
But I know it's a past participle can be functional as a gerund.
Yeah, can function. Yeah, Anthony, function as a gerund. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the ahosukang here, the sukang we take as a nominative case or accusative case?
Which one? Sorry.
Ahosukang.
Yes, it is a nominative case. What they are telling is, okay, we'll go to the commentary and see what does it mean. Okay, I hope you can see the commentary. Is it clear?
Yes, Bhante.
Right. So Ahosukang, this is the place where he said, okay, we'll see what he says. Abhikkananti bahulam, regularly. Udāna udāne siti, so he ayasma, this venerable. Aranye diva viharang upagatopi, having approached the forest to spend the daytime, like to spend the daytime. After the lunch, normally we take a rest. Rest means, it doesn't mean that you have to sleep, like you take some rest to get rid of the drowsiness because of the lunch. Rattivasupagatopi, having approached the forest to spend the night. Yebuyena, regularly. Palasamapatti sukena, nirodha sukena cha bhitinameti. He spent the time mostly with the Palasamapatti and Nirodha Samapatti. In that bliss. Tasma, therefore, Tan Sukang Sandhaya, referring to that happiness, Tan Sukang, aiming that happiness, referring to that happiness. Pubbe Attana Anubhutam, Sabhayang Saparilahang Rajya Sukang Jigujjitva. Pubbe previously Attana Anubhutam, experienced by himself. Sabhayang, together with fear, Saparihalahang, also with dangers and so forth. Rajya Sukhang, the happiness in the kinship. Jigujjitva, having disgusted it. Aho Sukhanti, Somanasa Sahitang, Jnana Samuttanang, Piti Samuttanang, Samugirati. So, Somanasa Sahitan, together with this, he uttered this utterance saying that it is happy and so forth. Somanas Sahitan, together with happiness. Jnana Samuttanam, Piti Samuttana, arose due to wisdom and arose due to Piti, bliss, joy, Z. Samugirati, utters. Girati means to say something. Samugirati, uttered this utterance. So now we can see what he referred at Ahosukang is, he was referring to the bliss that he was experiencing as a monk, because he was going into Palasamapatti, Nirodha Samapatti, and he was having a seclusion for himself. He didn't have any burdens. He was not afraid of the enemies and so forth. So he felt like very, very free. So he was saying about this freedom, that this is happy. So that's why we have to take it that Ahosukang means referring to that moment, that liberation that he already has. He used to say, this is really a happiness, this is really a happiness. So that is what, so that's why we say this should be taken as a nominative case, and it's better to translate, oh, this is, oh means like the exclamation, oh, this is indeed happy, this is indeed happy. He was referring to, we can say he was referring to few types of nirvana here, because he was an arahant. So he was referring to his absence or eradication or non-arising of defilements. And then he was also referring to the Sammuti Nibbana, that he is freed from the burdens of life, of a lay life. And also he was experiencing the Patipasaddi Nirvana, Palasamapatti Sukha. The Palasamapatti itself is considered as Patipasaddi Nibbana. So likewise, such liberations that he was referring to. This is indeed happy. This is indeed happy. So that's why I said this should be translated with the nominative meaning, but I think the idea is known with the context.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. So my next question is like in the first, when we say Udāna, Udānesi, so this Udāna is direct connected with the Udānesi.
Yeah.
But in the second paragraph, we also have the Udāna, Udānandasa. This Udāna also directly connected with the Asosong, or just still connected with the Udānandasa.
Personally, I feel it is connected to Udāna in Tassa, but grammatically. But in the end, practically, what he heard is this Udāna. So even if you say this is connected with this asosum, it doesn't contradict with the meaning. That is what in the end what he has heard. But if you look into this sentence structure, so what is this? Abhikkanang udanang udanesi. He uttered this utterance. So what they heard is the word of Venerable Bhaddiyā, and this entire clause, entire sentence I would call, the main part of the sentence, has turned into a clause here. So what has happened, all the nominative cases have gone into the genitive case, and the verb has turned into a present participle and was kept in the genitive case. Why is that? Because they wanted to modify this and to show that this is the same, this is the Venerable Pāḷi Godāya who was uttering this utterance. So that's why I said this Udāna is still connected to Udānintassa. And what he heard, his word. So normally, this is the usage in Pāli, like Amussa Sutva Imassa Akkhayanti. You don't need to show what he heard. What did he? Amussa is from him, from someone, from that person. So just the Pāli comes Amussa. There is a very common usage in Pāli. It's called genitive, and then associate. Su, the root su. Sorry. To here. It's a very common usage. So the genitive is the person who says, who speaks. Who speaks. So normally in the Pāli, when the genitive case comes, the object of the what he utters is not mentioned normally. Is not mentioned normally. So, but we have to understand it. So I think the same sentence pattern has been followed here. So I personally think this Udānang is connected to Udānintassa when we look into sentence patterns and how it has been used in other places. But technically, then we have to say, what did he hear? He heard what the Venerable Pāļi Godāya said. In the end, it is the Udāna itself. So if we connect it with this, there is no problem. Udānang, Udānintassa. Abhikkanang, Udānang, Udānintassa. Ahosukang, ahosukang. So then it becomes like how this sentence is connected to this Udānang, Udānintassa, because you can see he uttered this utterance. Now the utterance has been mentioned. Ahosukang, ahosukang. So he heard the word of Venerable Pāļi Godāya who was uttering the utterance. That is to say, ahosukang, ahosukang. So normally I would translate, they heard the words of Venerable Bhaddiyā Pāļi Godāya Putta, who having gone to the forest, having gone to the foot of a tree, having gone to a secluded place, usually utters the utterance, that is to say, ahosukang, ahosukang. So my personal idea is technically this is correct to connect it, but when you look into the sentence pattern, it's and also where it has been used without the object and so forth. I personally think this is connected to Udānintassa and it modifies Venerable Pāļi Godāya Putta.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. So regarding like Yansa, according to commentary, there's a they can separate as a Yanso, Yansa, or Yan Asa.
Yeah.
So another one is like in our mula is like a so damanusaramaro, but in the commentary they mention sa damanusamaro. So which one is correct?
Yeah, we'll go to the commentary. Sutpana said, Nesam Sambahulanam Bikudang, Tassa Asmato, Ahosukang, Ahosukang to Udānintassa, Udānang Sutva. Udānintassa, Udānang Sutva. Nisansayang Esa, Anabirato, Brahmacharyan Charatiti, Evang, Parivitakang Ahosi. That thought came into it. He Bhikkhu, Putujana, Tassa Ayasmato, Veka Sukang Sandhaya, Udānang Ajananta Eva, Amanyinsu, Hena Uttam, Nissansayanti Adi. So the Putujanas thought like that. Tatta Nissansayanti Asandehena Ekantenati Atto. That is for sure, without any doubt. Yanso Ubbe Agari Bhuto Samanavati Pāļi Matva. Now this is the part. Some interpret this as yang so pubbe agariya bhuto saman. Yang sa. So instead of yang sa, they used to have yang so pubbe agariya bhuto saman or Pāļi Matva. Anubhavi iti vachana sesena kechi attang vanni. So in that case, if you put yang so instead of yang sa, so is a separate word. He, yang is connected to a verb. Yanso pubbe agare bhuto samano rajyasukang anubhavi. So anubhavi is not in the sentence, but they say vachana se kechi attang vanni. So means you have to have another extra word when we say the meaning. Yanso pubbe agare bhuto samano rajyasukang anubhavi. So it means, I think we have made this few times. Yang is connected to the verb. So anubhavanam, the experiencing. The experiencing of the bliss of kinship, being a layperson. So that's how they used to utter. Yan sati patan apare. So yan sa means I don't know what they mean there. It's a feminine thing. So maybe patanti. I'm not sure what is this sa. When they use the sa, I don't know what they are referring to. So then yansa pubbe agariya bhutasa means the Pāļi. This is the normal word we have in the commentators accepting. Tatta yansati yang assa. Yang assa. Nigahita is dropped, and when the I is dropped, when followed by Nigahita, one sa is also dropped. Yansa. So there are many examples for such. Tasatto. Assa ayasmato Bhaddiyasa pabbajitato pubbe. Agariya bhutasa gahattasa sato. Yang rajyasukam anubhuta. Sa tamanussara. Yang rajyasukam anusara ta samanussara manoti. So tang sukam etarahi ukkansa vasena anusaranto. Yasa Bhaddiyasa ubbajito pubbe agariya bhutasa gahatta sato. Yang rajyasukam anubhuta. Sa tamanussara. Did you? Oh, this. You mean here, right?
Yes, like a sa tamanusa ramaro. I mean, in the Muna, we say it's so tamanusa ramaro. So I mean, the commentary here, this is a typing error or something.
No, not the typing error. According to this, the mula should be sa. So now, according to what the Venerable Attakatha Acharya is telling, what he has, this is the mula that he is reading. So he's explaining sa tamanussara means so. Sa should be known as so. That's what he is telling. Right? So he's explaining sa tamanussara manoti. So this is the mula for him. But for us, mula is something else.
So Bunny here, how about the Sri Lanka version? Is so or sa?
For that, I have to go to the commentary. You give me 1 minute.
Oh, okay, Bunny.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Bunny.
The Sri Lankan version of the commentary is so. This is the Sri Lankan version. So Tamanussaramanoti. Sri Lankan commentary.
So why it become like this, no?
Printing mistake?
I think maybe it's a printing mistake. I think here here maybe the commentator is not expand about the sa also. They want to expand about the down. What is down?
Sotan Supang. Correct. Can be.
Yeah.
We can better check this in the Burmese original commentary. This is written by the BPI, BRI. So there can be some printing mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Sorry.
Yeah, hi Bhante.
Hello, Dr. Ryan.
Yes, I have a question about the very first sentence. So here it's ekang sama yang bakawa anupiya yang viharati ambangwane. So according to the commentary, then it looks like we have to translate it as the one time the Blessed One was dwelling in the mango grove near the town of Anupiya, right, Bhante?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then the next point is the
So what translated like that? Did we translate differently?
I think Robin translated it in the town of Anupiya in the Mango Grove. Yeah.
Near the town of Anupiya.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, and then the next one is the wait, undoubtedly, yeah. So nisang sayang here is the adverb, right, Bhante? It's the adverb. So according to this Pāli sentence, then it's the adverb of the verb charati, right?
Nisansayan charati. Isn't that nisansayang is something related to the mind of the observers?
Yeah, so that's why I'm not sure here, because when we say that is the adverb, then it has to modify the verb, right? So for example, above we have the apikkanang, right? Apikkanang, which says that is the adverb of the verb Udāna. So here, if we say that is the adverb, then it has to modify a verb, right? But then if it modifies the verb, then it doesn't make sense. What does it mean? But undoubtedly he practiced the noble practice.
Yeah.
right? Because
This,
it's sort of like,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. This
So,
is
so
out
does
of this sentence. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so does that mean that it means it's the yeah, so as you said, but there is the undoubtedly in their mind that it is happening,
Mm, mm, mm.
right? But then if that's the case, then how should we understand that Pāli sentence?
Mm. This same, will go to a similar usage. The same kind of Satchang Kiratam Bhaddiyat. Now you can see this. The same thing happens here. Satchang Kiratam Bhaddya Aranya Gatopi Rukkamula Gatopi Sunyagara Gatopi Abhikkanam Udāna Udanis. Is it true that, normally we translate, is it true that Venerable Bhaddya, you go and practice so and so? So likewise, we take the Satchang out of the entire sentence, and this sentence is inside this part. Is it true that? So something like that, Nissansayang, it is undoubtedly, it is for sure that Venerable Kali Godaya Putta is practicing Brahmacharya without being delighted. So I think the similar usage of these two, there is a similar usage. So we have to, I'm not sure how to say it in English. It's like we take it out of the sentence. Like, is it true that you say these when you have gone to the forest and so forth? The same way, I think we can say it is for sure that Venerable Bhaddya is practicing the body life without being delighted.
I see. So it looks to me that, you know, if to make it clear, then should we have something like iti in there?
You mean the grammatical structure, right?
Yes, right.
Because this is how, what I said was, this
Yeah.
is how Venerable A.P. Buddhadatta, he gave this example as a special example. Then he has given in the sentence analysis that this Satchang should come out of the sentence. It's like Twang, this is how Twang Bhaddya Kali Aranya Gatopi Rukkamula Gatopi Sunyagara Gatopi Abhikkanam Udanesiti Ahosukanti Tan Satchanu, something like that. Is it true? Udāna Udaninti Tang Karanang Satchang, something like that. So when we try to use it in Pāli, we have to have some kind, like, yeah, it's like with iti, the entire sentence goes under, is covered by iti, and
Right. Yeah.
we put this word outside.
Right.
Yeah, I'll ask for my friend also about this. How do we make a Pāli grammatical analysis, right? You mean?
Right, Bhante. Yeah.
How to write it in a proper way? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Hi, Bhante.
Brother Rami.
Yes, Bhante. I would like to ask about the part, the Asapupeya Gariya Buddhasa Rajasukhang, Bhante. So, yes.
You like here, right?
Yes. So, is it possible to understand the portion of this as genitive absolute, Bhante? Especially the asa agariya buddhasa, asa pube agariya buddhasa.
Why you take that gender? Because there's no act, right? Agariya Bhuta is a past participle, yes. So whatever
Like maybe when he
had. So this is connected to Rajasuka. This genitive is not absolute. This is possessive.
Oh,
What he
okay.
as being a layperson. The happiness of kinship that he had being a lay.
So the word when come naturally with that Agarya Bhuttasa, right, Bhante?
But that is inside the clause, right? Not while he was experiencing. It was the happiness that he had when he was a lay person. So it's not the absolute, like, it's not absolute actually. The absolute meaning is there when we use the word when. That's true. But if I would call it absolute if the sentence was Yangsa Ubbe Agariya Bhutas Rajyasukang Anubhavantas. Okay, if he had such a word that he was while he was experiencing Anubhavantas, something like that. Another present participle governing this object, then it is an absolute. I think if we'll write these two sentences to make it more clear. Right, like this. Now this is the word that we have now. Nah, what happened? Yeah. Yangsa Pubbe Adariya Budasa Rajyasukam. So Yangsa Pubbe Agariya Budasa Rajyasukam Anubhavan Tassa. Then there will be a problem of how to connecting yang. Anyway, so if we had this kind of a usage, Ubbe Agariya Bhutassa Rajyasukam Anubhavantas. While he was being a layperson, while he was experiencing the bliss of happiness. When or while? While experiencing. Right. Here, when experiencing the bliss of kingship, while being a lay person, right? Here what it comes is the bliss of kingship when he was a lay person. So normally the absolute is in this kind of usage, not this. The first one is it's the noun. What matters is the bliss he had when he was a lay person. So absolute means the always when it is an absolute, the act should be the prominent. While he was experiencing, while he was sleeping. The first sentence, the prominent emphasis is on the happiness of kingship while he was a layperson. So that while is not making the sentence an absolute. The clause an absolute. To be an absolute, the act should be emphasized. So when we say while experiencing the bliss of kingship, so when experiencing is the highlighted part. So here the bliss of kingship is what has been highlighted. So therefore, that is the way to decide whether it is an absolute or just a genitive case. So which word is given more emphasis? If it is an absolute, always action should be emphasized.
Okay, Bhante. Yes, Bhante. Let's make it like more easy to decide then, Bhante. To the emphasis of the word. Yes, Bhante. It's clear, Bhante. And also, Bhante, about the Anabirato, Bhante.
I'm sorry, Robin. I have kind
yes?
of a question about this
Oh, sure,
part.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure, Doctor. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So Bhante, so in the first one,
Mhm.
so the Agarya Bhutassa is the genitive case. Then why are you translated as the when he was a layperson? Bhante?
Agarya Bhuta. Bhuta means became, right? Bhuta is became. Agarya Bhuta means one who was born or had become a layperson, like being a layperson. So that sense of being is why I wrote this when or while.
So can
Or
we
you can,
translate it as the bliss of kingship of the householder's life?
so then you are telling Agarya Bhuta is householder's life. Okay?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, it gives the meaning. Like, for example, when we say this Pāli word, Brahma Bhuto, or Chakku Bhuto, this is the word for Buddha. Chakku Bhuto, Chakku is eye, right? One who arose with the path consciousness, one who arose or became like the eye of the world. So normally when we have in Pali this connected with Bhuta, we no need to translate it in this meaning actually. Like it is not necessary to translate, but the Pali definition they give is that something which happened, occurred in coming into that state. Brahmovya Bhuto, Brahmovya Jato, something like that. One who arose like a Brahma. One who arose like the eye for the world, of the entire world. Chakkubhuto. It means when the Buddha arose, people got the wisdom of eyes. So he was like the eye of the entire world. So likewise, when it is connected with Bhuta, the Pali definition is like became, arose, happened, something like that. So, so it's true that like why it is not necessary to bring this issue when we translate the Bhuta. It is not necessarily that. So we can say that Agarya Bhuta is the layperson's life. But when we go technically, we normally translate this as being a layperson. So because tassa assa ubbe Agarya Bhutassa Rajya Sukham. So Tamanussaram. So we'll go in the commentary. Assa, what does it refers to? We'll see. Yeah. We can see here whether this assa is to refer to the lay life or to the person. The Bhikkhu Putujana, where are we? Yeah, here it's what. Assa tassattu. Assa ayasmato Bhaddiyasuttaṃ. Pabbajitato Pubbassa Agarya Bhutas. So according to this, Agarya Bhuta is referring to Venerable Bhaddiya. Agarya Bhutasya Ghattasya Sato. So that's why I translated as when he was a layperson. Like because of Bhuta, it brought the timely attribute. And as this refers to Venerable Bhaddiya, so it was referred to the same person. So the happiness he had being a layperson, contemplating that, yang Rajyasukaṃ Anubhutam, whatever the bliss of kingship he experienced, so tamanusarantu, so tang sukam etrahi kantana vasena anusarantu. He contemplating or remembering that, now being not delighted in the practice. That's why I went into that explanation.
I see. So it looks like it's something like a lakhana, Bhante?
Lakhana. What do you mean by lakhana? Right?
It's like, you know, we have some time back we talked about what is that?
I cannot hear you clearly. Can you raise your
I'm
voice?
sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we
Yeah.
talked about something like what is that? Or something. Just, you know, it's like a sign.
Bhava lakhana, you mean? No.
Yes. Pawalakana, yes. It's like a sign.
Normally, Bhava lakhana, we refer to the absolute. Yasayasmato Bhaddiyasya Pabbajito Pubbe Agariya Bhutas Gahatas. So
Bhante,
yeah, yes, Sally.
can we say the Agariya Buddhasa is expanded by the Gahatasa Sabdo? This is being a lay person.
Being a layperson, yeah. Gahatasa Sato, yes.
So
That
this is
Bhuta, this is the Bhuta, because of this Bhuta, this Sato has come.
yeah.
Agariya Bhutasya Gahatasa Sato, being a layperson. So it has a timely attribute because of these past participles, present participle and past participle. Yeah, so that's how I feel now.
I see. Okay, Bhante. And then also there is just a comment to your explanation to Robin's question. I think there is we will see a similar thing later on in this sutta. If we go to the explanation of, the answer of Venerable Bhaddiyā to the Buddha's question. If we go to that paragraph, then we see that genitive absolute in there. Yeah, so you see, Bubbe me Bhante Agariya Bhutassa Rajang Kareng Tassa.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good example. So Bubbe me Bhante Agariya Bhutassa Rajang Kareng Tassa. We can see that the verbal meaning is emphasized here. Verbal meaning is emphasized. Yes, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Robin. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Bhante, I would just want to know about the anabhirato, Bhante. So is it functioning as adjective, Bhante, in here?
Asma Bhaddiyo Khali Godaya Putto Anabhirato Brahmachari. I think it's not an adjective. It is, as Pāḷi said, this is a nominative past participle, right? So it's acting as a nominative absolute. Nominative absolute. So nominative absolute of a past participle is functioning of a gerund. So being not delighted, he practices Brahmacharya. Rather than taking it as an adjective. If you take it as an adjective, it is indeed that Khali Goda, Bhaddiyā, Khali Godaya Putta, who is not delighted, practicing the holy life. It means already he is like not delighted, he's the not delighted person, seems like. But it's better to say Venerable Bhaddiyā, the son of Kaligoda, not being delighted, practices brahmacharya. Like something that has happened already, like while he was living as a monk.
Okay, Bhante. So it's like the nominative past participle.
Yes.
It's usually functioning as gerund, Bhante.
And it's an absolute. We can call it technically, grammatically, traditionally, we don't call it absolute, but there we can see that absolute meaning is there. So it functions as a gerund. I think we discussed this in the very beginning of our classes, I think.
I'm sorry, Bhante. It's been quite a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Bhante.
I think first few lessons we did it. Yeah.
But Bhante, if the here anabirato is absolute, then how we translate it, Bhante?
That's why it's a past participle absolute. So it's better to translate like a gerund.
Oh, okay, Bhante.
Being also we can see is the being not delighted, undelightfully. Yeah, anyone can give a good translation for this? Anabirata. Anabirato brahmacharya. Yeah.
Can I suggest like he practiced the holy life without delight?
Without delight. Can without delight, but it is the meaning is very clear. But did we translate the participle? So how? I agree with you. Without delight. So it's like a without a noun, without the happiness. Is there any translation?
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, Yali.
When I say without delight, the meaning is interconnection with the verb. So it's like two actions at the
Can
same
you raise
time.
your voice? I cannot hear you. Can you raise your voice? Sorry. Without delight. Right. Okay.
So the meaning is in the connection with the verb, charati. So it also means two actions happening at the same time. So so in English, I would like to say like that. And for the meaning about the grammar, I'm not sure. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Sorry. So without delight means it's connected to the he is practicing charity. He practices the holy life without any delight. So yeah. So in this case, it's 100% correct. The meaning is 100% correct. So, but here when we say without delight, we normally say the absence of delight in Pāli, absence of delight. So here comes abhirata is delighted, not being delighted. So in the end, we can still think another way of looking into this. So abhirata is delighted. Then not delighted. In the end, its meaning is without delight. Yeah. Yeah. Any suggestions to this? I think Dr. Ryan, you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's just because Bhante, you said that is the past participle and it can have the meaning of the gerund. So if it is a gerund, then it's going to be like having not been delighted.
Having not been.
Yeah, but then also we know that the gerund sometimes can indicates an action that happens at the same time with the main verb. So yeah, of course, it can, of course, have the meaning of the without delight. He practiced that. Yeah, practice that.
Without delighting, right? Is it what she meant? Without delighting?
No, I think when we say without delight, then that delight is a noun. It's not a verb. I think. Yeah.
Right. This is also possible, right? Without delighting.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But then when then it just sounds a little bit strange when we say without delighting.
Without delight.
Because usually it has the meaning of passive, but they so being delighted.
Okay. Being
then
delighted,
if you want to say, then you can say without being delighted.
Okay. Okay.
But we can say delight. Delight can be a noun. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Bhante.
Yeah.
I saw someone translate that word as discontent.
Discontent.
Yes.
Normally, discontent is asantutta. Normally, asantutta is discontent. Abhiratha, content. We can have a content meaning, but Abhiratha is like he's very delighted in this action. Did you see it in a translation like any publication?
Yes, Bhante is A.K. Wonder. He translated.
Anabhiratha. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Borders we have to consider seriously, right? Abhiratha. Can check. Have a quick check. Abhiratha. Abhiratha. Normally they translate it as fond of, indulging in, Abhiratha. Finding delight in. Santutta. Unhappy, not pleased with, not content with. That is asantutta. Greedy, instead, unhappy, something like that. Normally, I would prefer if it is not discontent. Normally, it asantutta. So I would prefer here being. In English, can you say that if someone is not happy about the monk life, that he's not content with it? Can we say that? Dr. Ryan? Is it possible?
Not quite, Bhante.
Not quite, right?
Bhante?
No, I don't think they are the same.
Bhante,
Yes.
I see Bhikkhu Bodhi. He translate that word. Anabhirati is dissatisfaction.
A dissatisfaction. Okay. 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 Dissatisfaction and discontent are two things, right?
Yeah, I think they are different, Bhante.
Okay. So like this one is okay, I think. We can say a monk is dissatisfied with his monk life, right? We can say like when a monk wants to destroy, he's not satisfied with his monk life. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Conditions. Yeah. Any things to be discussed here? Okay, seems okay. So now we are left with the last part of the sutta. So shall we take it to this Monday? Because if we start now, it will take some time, I think.
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, so shall we call it a day then? Now it's 10 minutes to 11 in Myanmar.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
And also, Sally asked about the book readers, stories.
Oh, yes, Bhante.
Yeah, we have a book now. Actually, our sister Uttama, Sally Uttama, helped me. Actually, she did all the typings and prepared it very nicely. It's already in the Google Docs. We have the second book of the Pāḷi stories, actually, the commentarial stories, which are a bit advanced than what we did, the short stories. So would you like to read them like daily or how?
Sure,
Yeah, we
Bhante.
can,
Yeah,
Bhante.
definitely, Bhante.
Okay. So how shall we do it? It's the entire book, because Sale Uttamas, she completely typed the entire thing in the Google. It's already. So what would be more convenient if I share one every day, or because it's like this, the entire book, the vocabulary is in the behind of the book, back of the book. So it's not a vocabulary for each story, actually. The entire vocabulary is in the behind the book of all the words in the book are found there. So in case we can go back to the book and find what is the meaning of a certain word. So what would be more useful, like in which way you will get the, just giving a book, sometimes it doesn't make that urge. If we share once every day.
So Bhante, how about, for example, you give the whole book, but we have the homework. Like 1 week we have to finish 2 stories or something like that.
That is also possible. And but I think there will be some quite a lot of questions when we read the book. So how can we manage that? That's the next problem I have. We should not bring it into the Udāna, I think.
Yeah. We should separate.
How long is the story, Bhante? Each story?
First 5 stories are quite short. Then it goes like some stories 2, 3, 4 pages sometimes. It gets advanced, and the last story is a gatha. It's completely a gatha version. So the stories do get advanced with time. It's nicely compiled one. We consider this as the second stage of Pāļi reading in Sri Lanka.
So will we discuss it on Wednesday, Bhante? I mean,
then
is it the plan?
It will affect the questions, right, that we have so far.
But we need another extra time.
We take the entire one question. Sometimes we completely take the entire day for one question sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, personally, I could love to have the whole book, Bhante.
Like to have whole book. Okay. So then, how about others? Should we as a group, is it more convenient? I can share you the entire book, no problem. I'll share the link. But how about giving one story a day would make you to work, or how do you think?
Oh, one day, one story is so too much. Yeah.
Maybe the first 5 story can be given daily, Bhante, and then for the longer story, it is 1 week, 1 story, Bhante.
Okay, so when do we check or discuss on this? We have to put another day, is it?
Yeah, we need another day, Bhante.
Because my Abhidhamma classes will end that day.
So, Bhante, when were your Sri Lanka, the